going to be painting on an unusual surface today. And that's going to be an old paper bag. We went ahead and cut the front of it off for you so that you have something that's nice and flat. And the cool thing about painting on this is we have a built-in hanger, right? So you can put it up on your wall very easily. So we are going to be doing some layers on this project using oil pastels, the liquid watercolors I provided. We haven't used those before, so this will be a fun experience for you, I think. And then the soft pastels or the chalk, okay? You also need the biggest paintbrush you have, some water, paper toweling, and what else? I think that's it. So this is a fun, it doesn't take very long to do kind of project. And I'm going to do a heart since it's, around Valentine's Day. But you can do whatever you want. This is going to be very free-flowing, abstract in nature. And so I'll walk you through it. Okay, the first layer is going to be putting down some oil pastel marks. And if you remember that when you put watercolor over oil pastel or crayon, the oil pastel will show through. So we're going to think about what colors we want here. I'm going to go with the pink, and I'm going to start with the outside of my lines of my heart. The focal part of this is going to be the heart. So I'm going to have some pink, and I'm doing this in very loosely. Some different lines of pink. Remember, we're going to be painting over this. And then I think I'm going to take I'm going to go over this with blue, mainly because this is the only bottle of liquid color watercolor that I have. I sent everything else over for you. So I'm going to put some red on here. Okay. And then I also am going to have some kind of bubbles around. So I want them to be different colors. And to stand out. You don't have to do a heart. You can do just a series of random marks. You can write a word if you want. It's whatever you feel like you want to do. I'm going to put some purple. Excuse me. I think I swallowed some of that, or inhaled some of that chalk dust there. So make sure that you put a lot of, hold on just a second, I'm looking for, put it back in and now I don't know what I did with it. That beige. Oh, here we go. Gotten some red. Again, if with your oil pastels, if they start looking a little funky there, you can just take your fingernail and peel the color that's making it funky on there. Just make sure you've got plenty of Oh, I'm going to pause this and get a glass of water. Okay. So, as I said, we're going to be using, once you have all of your oil pastel marks down that you want, we're going to work with our liquid watercolor, and you should have a bowl to put it in. You can see here that you will not be using water. You can use a damp brush, but you will not be using water. My cat Minky says hi. I set up a new studio area in quote-unquote her room, and she's still trying to forgive me. Anyway, we're going to start painting using our big brush, and as you can see, the oil pastel is coming through. Wet my brush just a little bit more. Now, again, I'm going to use just one color, but that's because it's the only color I have. You have other colors, so you can use lots of, or all of them if you want. Most important thing is that you understand the materials and the technique. My watercolor paint is a little special because it has some glitter in it. Yours does not. This was left over from a project from several years ago. So make sure that you try to get rid of the darker brush lines. I really love how this oil pastel is showing through. Very cool. Now, because this is watercolor and not acrylic, we want it to vary. Like you can see, there's some darker and lighter, and you're not going to get like a solid color, and that's okay. And even if I'm only using just one color, can still do some things that make it kind of interesting using just the one color. So for example, within this circle, I can go over it and make it darker. So I think I'll do that with a couple, and I'll get a different look there, right? Or I could do that in the center of the heart as well. Maybe have one half of the heart darker than the other half. So you can make it interesting just using one color as well. Just by going over areas of it for a second time. This little circle's kind of disappearing, so I think I'll make it darker. Actually, I'm kind of loving the dark. So I think I'm gonna do that for all the bubbles. And if you want to use a smaller brush to paint inside some of this, you can. Now I'm going to hold it up and see what I think. Okay, so we're going to let this dry. In the meantime, you want to clean out your brush, and you can try to put some of the leftover watercolor paint back in the bottle. Okay, so the paper is dry now, so we want to pick out a few soft pastels that in colors that you think will look great on whatever colors you have used with the watercolor and the oil pastels. So this is our third layer, and we can make some more marks. As you know, with watercolor, it will, with soft pastels, it will blend. So I'm going to start with this lighter blue, and I'm going to just start making some additional marks on my heart. And the circles, and maybe do some other smaller circles in the background. Which I can expand upon with other colors. Just be careful where you hold on to your paper. see if this is going to show up. So I'm going to, and it's pretty close to the color that I painted over everything, so I'm just going to use it to give it just a little more of depth around the heart. So this is where you're just going to play and just sort of see what feels good. Just look at it. Don't overthink it too much. Use some of the, remember you can blend. So you can go back and sort of soften up some of these bubbles or dots, whatever you want them to be. Or you can leave some of them, some of your marks with the soft pastels, just nice and bold. At this point, we're really just playing. I'm going to put some red here. So I'm going to soften it up. And it kind of makes the heart stand out a little bit more. You can hold it up and kind of see how you're liking it. And so what you're doing here is just layering different colors together and blending, and that layering is what makes the work really interesting. So I'm just going to put a little bit of pink right there. Just blend it a little bit. Okay, so you get the idea, and you can just play around with this as much as you want to until you feel like it's how you like it, and then you can stop. Now, because we're using the chalk on the top layer, what you need to do is use hairspray or some sort of fixative to protect it. I was just looking. I want to do something with these. Because they were looking a little plain there. Okay, so you can see how this is all shaping up. One of the things I want to do is work that out a little bit more to balance it. There we go. That looks better. It's a heart stitched together, which is probably what most of our hearts feel like. Anyway, so you can work on this as long as you want till you are feeling like you're really happy with it. And then, you know, you can repeat this technique on the next brown paper bag you come across. Hope you hang these up and enjoy them. Thank you.